So now this is going to be part 2 of the cylinder head removal. Now what I went ahead and done is put the VTC connector over here, so whenever I try to pull this out of here, it's not getting caught on everything. We have the O2 sensor connector right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Also, I'm going to feed it underneath the EGR so it doesn't get caught on that on the way out, because I don't think the EGR will be coming with it. For the fasteners that actually hold the cylinder head on, of course we're not to that yet, but this is what I'm going to be using. It's a Torx. I know it's an Allen in there, but this fits just fine. I don't see a size on it, but it's a pretty big Torx. It fits right in there. There's not any slop. I've used it to remove cylinder head on VGs before, so I'm not too concerned. Put it right on there, and it's fine. One thing I noticed also is that the power steering pump is bolted to the cylinder head, and I can't be dragging that out of there. So what I'm going to do is, through this hole right here, I'm going to remove this pivot bolt, and then do the same. I'm moving it over here. Now I'm not going to remove this whole bracket because I feel like it'll make the cylinder head easier to grab onto. It's a handle that I'll be able to pull it out with. But yeah. But before all that nonsense, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the lower intake using a 12mm on these studded fasteners, and then an Allen or a matching size Torx for the others. And one thing you want to be careful about is there's rubber grommets inside of here, and you just want to be sure not to lose any of those. Now, as you can see, I went ahead and removed the power steering pump. I have all the fasteners for the intake removed. What I'm going to do next is get a dead blow or something to break the seal loose on this intake and pull it off here. So one thing I forgot about on the intake is that once you get these bolts off, it's still connected to the EGR. So I'm going to be trying to remove the EGR. I'm probably going to have to cut the bolts, if I can even do that. There's just no room back there. But I'm probably going to have to do that to get this out of here. Now, as you can see, I have one of the bolts out. It's hitting the firewall right there. So I'm going to go find a saw or something to go ahead and cut this. Now, to get to this other bolt on this side, I had to remove this water pipe right here, which just comes up and curves over. I went ahead and removed that, and now I should be able to reach this other bolt. Alright, so now as you can see, I got the intake off. I actually didn't cut those bolts, I just pushed them all the way back and was able to get it out. Now, one thing I will say that was a bit of a pain was this diaphragm here overlaps the intake. So I had to get a pry bar and pry this backwards, bend it, and then pull the intake off. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, and I hope it's one of the last things I do before I start moving the bolts that actually hold the head on, is I'm going to remove these bolts, or I may just see if this unclips, but no, I'm probably going to actually have to remove those bolts and get this harness detached from the head. Alright, now I have that harness off there. Next thing I'm going to do is just get this one little bolt, because it's easy to forget. You can see it right there on the back of the head. It's a little 10mm and it needs to be removed. It holds the head to the block. I'm not 100% sure why it's there, but it is there and it will need to be removed. So just remove that first so you don't forget it and start beating on this head and trying to break it loose when it's still being held down by that bolt there. Now I'm going to go ahead and use that big Torx I showed you guys, and I'm going to break these loose by hand, or at least try to. It shouldn't be terrible, but it might be terrible. We'll see, but I'm going to break them loose by hand just because I feel like that's safer. I've seen people break them loose with an impact and everything, but I just feel better breaking them loose by hand. So now typically what I do when installing a head, I try to cross my way from the center out but when removing a head, I usually go from the outside in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably say remove that one first, then that one, then that one, then that one, and you know, just cross it around. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to start breaking these loose now I got that little tin out of there. Alright, so I'm recording it now. I did break that one loose already, so now I'm working to this one. Alright, I already broke that one loose. I'm going to go ahead and spray PB Blaster on the rest of them, because that's what the other one needed. Next, I'm going to go to this one. Cross it over. Go across. And cross it back over. And now that they're broken loose, you can use your preferred method. I am going to go get my impact. There's no tension left on the bolts. They're literally just threaded in there. So I'm just going to get a 3/8 impact and run them out of there real quick. Now I'm just going to go get a magnet and drag the bolts out of there. Whew. Just like that, and there's also a washer that's supposed to come along with it. You don't want to forget that one. Alright, now that I have all the bolts removed, what I'm going to do is get my mallet again, wherever it's at. I'm just going to hit on the side of the head, not hitting like the intake surface or anything, just you can see it. I can hear a little bit of coolant going. And of course, you know, I have a drain pan under there. Before I go to pull it off though, I'm going to get some towels or something right here to protect the paint right here, but also to prevent the deck surface from hitting something on here and marring it and making the head unusable. So I'm going to go get some towels or something to lay across here. I might actually remove this bracket right here that holds the, what is this, some sort of purge solenoid or something, off there. So I'm going to get a 12mm and remove that real quick. Okay, that's not going to work with the head loose. So, I guess I'll just try to make this happen. I'm also just going to clear some stuff out of my way so I can get to it. This goes to power steering. I'm going to put that back in there. And I'm probably going to destroy my back doing this, but oh my gosh. This water pipe is hooked on the EGR, so now that I actually have room to get around here, I think what I'm going to do is remove this pipe right here that goes to the EGR. Should just be a 12 millimeter. All right, now that pipe is removed, it should come on out of there. Now, like I said, oh, it's hooked on all that crap. Okay. Now it should come on out of there. So now you can see it's out. You can see little marks on the pistons where they kiss the valves, which is great. Looking at this gasket though, it actually looks pretty good. I was expecting to see a little bit of a break somewhere just by the nature of this car, but I'm not seeing any, which is awesome. Now again, come over here, we can look at the cylinder head, and you don't want to lay this flat on its face, but you can see the exhaust where the valves have kissed the piston, and that is where I lost my compression. So I'm going to start, not now of course, but I'm going to have to start disassembling this head and putting new valves in it to give it the compression it needs. So with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If this helped you out, leave a like, that'd be awesome. If not, leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help. Most of all, just let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.